text message wasn't meant for me. That's the funny thing about shared tablets. They sync everything, even the messages you're trying to hide. I stared at the glowing screen, my coffee growing cold beside me as my entire world shifted on its axis. Can't wait to see you tonight. Will's at that boring dinner with Mom and Dad. Meet at our usual spot? My name is Zoe, and I was reading my sister's message to my husband. The tablet dinged again. Will's response appeared. Already counting down the minutes. Wear that black dress I bought you. I set the tablet down carefully, like it might explode if handled too roughly. Through our floor-to-ceiling windows, I could see the Manhattan skyline, the same view I'd fallen in love with when we bought this penthouse 3 years ago. Now it felt like I was looking at a stranger's life. Honey, Will's voice carried from our bedroom, have you seen my blue tie, the Hermes one? I touched the tie sitting next to me on the couch, the one he'd wear tonight to dinner with my parents, and Krista. My baby sister would be there too, probably wearing that black dress. Found it, I called back, my voice steady. Years of family dinners had taught me how to sound perfectly normal while dying inside. Will appeared, looking exactly like the man I'd married 12 years ago. Tall, handsome, successful architect Will Ford, who'd pursued me relentlessly in high school until I finally said yes. He smiled that dimpled smile that still made Society magazines swoon. You're not dressed yet? He frowned, checking his watch. Your mother will have a fit if we're late. I stood up, smoothing my silk robe. I was just reading some interesting messages. Work stuff? He was adjusting his cuffs, not really listening. No. I picked up the tablet. Messages between you and Krista. The silence that followed was deafening. Will's hands froze mid-motion, his face draining of color. I watched him cycle through expressions. Shock, fear, calculation, and finally, practiced concern. Zoe, I can explain. Don't. I held up my hand. Not now. We have dinner with my parents, remember? He took a step toward me. We should talk about this. Oh, we will. I walked past him to our bedroom. But right now, I need to get dressed. Wouldn't want to keep everyone waiting. An hour later, we sat around my parents' antique mahogany dining table. Mother was in rare form, regaling us with stories about her latest charity gala. Father nodded at appropriate intervals while checking his phone under the table. And Krista, my beautiful, perfect younger sister, sat across from me, wearing that black dress. Zoe, dear, you've barely touched your food, Mother noticed, her perfectly penciled eyebrows drawing together in concern. I pushed my salmon around the plate. Just not very hungry. She's working too hard, Will offered, his hand finding mine on the table. I fought the urge to pull away. Always on her laptop until midnight. Krista laughed, the sound like breaking glass. You should take better care of yourself, sis. Will's right. I met her eyes across the crystal centerpiece. My sister, who'd been sneaking around with my husband for God knows how long, was telling me to take better care of myself. Will's right about a lot of things, isn't he? I smiled, watching her face carefully. Nothing. Not even a flicker of guilt. Speaking of work, Father finally looked up from his phone. How's that Morrison project coming along, Will? As my husband launched into details about his latest architectural triumph, I excused myself to get some air. Standing on my parents' balcony, I could hear Krista's laughter floating through the open doors, mingling with Will's deeper chuckle. My mother appeared beside me, wrapped in her designer shawl. Everything all right, dear? You seem distracted. I turned to look at her, this woman who'd spent my entire life teaching me the importance of appearances, of keeping up with the Joneses, of swallowing pain with a smile because that's what good girls do. Everything's perfect, Mother. I smiled, the same smile I'd been practicing since I was 6. Absolutely perfect. She patted my arm and went back inside, leaving me alone with the city lights and the sound of my sister flirting with my husband. They thought I would stay silent, that I'd be the good girl, the responsible daughter, the understanding wife. They were wrong. I pulled out my phone and typed a quick message to Aurora, my best friend, and the only person who'd ever seen through my family's perfect facade. Need to talk. Tomorrow. It's time to burn it all down. I waited until we got home to confront Will. He loosened his tie as soon as we walked through the door, heading straight for the bar cart like he always did after family dinners. The familiarity of it made me sick. "How long?" I asked, still standing by the door. He froze, Scotch decanter in hand. "Zoe." "How? Long?" He set the decanter down, turning to face me. It was a mistake, a moment of weakness. With my sister. I stepped closer. My little sister, Will, the one who was a bridesmaid at our wedding. He ran his hands through his hair, messing up the careful styling. 6 months, maybe 7. It just happened. "Just happened?" I laughed, the sound harsh even to my own ears. "Like you just happened to buy her that dress? Like you just happened to get her that apartment in Tribeca?" His eyes widened. "How did you—" "I'm a financial consultant, Will. Did you think I wouldn't notice the money transfers?" He slumped onto our Italian leather couch. "I'll end it. Tonight. We can work through this, go to counseling." "Save it." I pulled out my phone. "I'm calling my parents. They should hear this from me." "Wait." He jumped up. "Let's think about this. Your father's firm handles half my clients, your mother's social circle. Is that what you're worried about?" I stared at him. "Your clients?" The next morning, I sat in my parents' breakfast room watching my mother stir her tea with precise, measured movements. Father stood by the window, his back to me. "Have you considered what this will do to the family name?" Mother finally spoke. I blinked. "That's your first concern?" "Don't be dramatic, Zoe." She set her spoon down with a delicate clink. "These things happen in marriages. The important thing is how we handle it." "Handle it?" I leaned forward. "My husband is sleeping with Krista. Your younger daughter is sleeping with your older daughter's husband." "Lower your voice," Father snapped, turning around. "The staff will hear." "Good, let them hear. Let everyone hear." "That's exactly what we're trying to prevent," Mother said, reaching for my hand. "Think about Krista's future, about Will's career, about our standing in the community." I pulled my hand away. "What about my future?" "You're stronger than this," Father said. "You've always been the practical one, the responsible one." "The invisible one," I corrected. The doorbell rang, and moments later, Krista walked in. She was wearing oversized sunglasses despite the cloudy day, her designer bag clutched close. "I came as soon as I could," she said, sliding into a chair. "Zoe, I'm so sorry you're hurt. I never meant for this to happen." I stared at her, this person who shared my blood but felt like a stranger. "That's it? That's your apology? What else do you want me to say?" She pushed her sunglasses up. "We can't help who we fall in love with." "Love?" I stood up so fast my chair scraped against the hardwood. "You think this is about love?" "Zoe, sit down," Mother commanded. "We need to handle this like adults." "Handle what exactly?" I looked around at their faces, my mother's careful mask of concern, my father's stern disapproval, my sister's practiced pout. Handle the fact that my husband and sister betrayed me, or handle the fact that I'm not staying quiet about it? "Both," Father said bluntly. "You will not destroy this family's reputation over something that can be fixed." Mother reached for my hand again. "Stay married. For everyone's sake. Give it time. These feelings will pass." I looked at her perfectly manicured fingers resting on mine, at the diamond tennis bracelet that matched the one on Krista's wrist. Christmas gifts from 2 years ago. Will had helped me pick them out. "Of course, Mother." I smiled, the same smile I'd worn last night on the balcony. "You're right. These things happen in marriages." Relief flooded her face. "I knew you'd understand, darling. You've always been so sensible." I stood up, gathering my purse. I should go. I have a lunch meeting with Aurora. That's the spirit, Father nodded. Business as usual. As I walked to my car, my phone buzzed. A text from Krista. Thank you for understanding, sis. I promise we'll make this right. I started my car, watching through the windshield as my sister emerged from the house, air-kissing Mother goodbye before climbing into her Mercedes, the one Will had helped her choose. Oh, we'll make this right, I whispered, pulling up Aurora's number. Just not the way you think. They want you to what? Aurora slammed her coffee cup down, drawing looks from nearby tables at our favorite cafe. Stay married? After everything? I nodded, picking at my untouched croissant. For the family name? For appearances? Screw appearances. Aurora leaned forward, her dark eyes blazing. Your husband slept with your sister. This isn't some minor indiscretion you sweep under a Persian's rug. Tell that to my mother. I sighed. She's more worried about what the country club will think. And Krista, she just sat there with her fake apology, like she was returning a borrowed dress. I pushed my plate away. You know what's worse? Will's been helping her financially. That fancy apartment in Tribeca? He's been paying half her rent. Aurora's eyes narrowed. The Morrison building? The one with those ridiculous marble fountains? That's the one. I paused, something clicking in my mind. Why? Because. She pulled out her tablet, typing quickly. I heard it's changing hands. Again. My real estate contact mentioned it last week. She turned the screen toward me. There it was, a listing for the entire building, currently under private ownership but going on the market soon. Interesting timing, I murmured. What's that look? Aurora studied my face. I know that look, Zoe. That's your I'm about to do something brilliant and possibly terrifying look. I pulled out my phone, scrolling through contacts until I found the number I needed. It rang twice before a familiar voice answered. Zoe, it's been too long. Titus, I smiled. Remember when you said I should diversify my investment portfolio into real estate? I remember telling you that 3 years ago and you saying you preferred stocks. Things change. How quickly can you meet? 2 hours later, I sat in Titus's corner office, watching Manhattan's traffic flow 40 stories below. He hadn't changed much since he'd mentored me fresh out of business school. Same sharp eyes, same ability to read between the lines. So, he settled behind his desk, you want to buy an apartment building, specifically that apartment building. Is that a problem? Not at all. But you're not telling me everything. He folded his hands. This isn't just about investment diversification, is it? I met his gaze. Does it matter? It matters if you're planning something that could backfire legally. Everything will be completely legal. I pulled out the documents I'd prepared. I want to create an LLC, anonymous ownership. Can you help with that? He studied me for a long moment, then smiled. You know, your parents never wanted you handling your inheritance, said you were too impulsive. And what did you say? That they were idiots. He reached for the papers. You were always the smart one, the careful one, the one who understood the long game. So you'll help? Under one condition, he leaned back. Whatever you're planning, make it clean, make it legal, and make it count. I left Titus's office with a plan forming. My phone buzzed. A text from Krista. Lunch tomorrow? Just us girls? We should talk. Another message followed. Will says he misses you. I clicked my phone off, stepping into the lobby of Krista's building. The doorman smiled politely. Can I help you, ma'am? Just visiting my sister. I glanced around the marble lobby. Is Ellis here, the property manager? Right through there, ma'am. His office is open. Ellis looked up as I knocked on his doorframe. He was younger than I expected, with kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. Ms. Ford, your sister mentioned you might stop by. Please call me Zoe. I sat down across from him. I'm actually here about the building's sale. His eyebrows rose. That information isn't public yet. I have good sources. I smiled. And potentially good timing. You're interested in buying? He looked skeptical. Let's just say I'm interested in possibilities. I stood up. Thank you for your time, Ellis. I'm sure we'll be talking again soon. Back outside, I called Aurora. Well, she answered on the first ring. The building's perfect. Titus is handling the LLC setup, and Ellis seems manageable. Are you sure about this? I watched a couple emerge from the building, Krista and Will, his hand on the small of her back as he helped her into his car. They didn't see me standing across the street. She thinks she owns luxury, I said quietly. Let's see how she likes eviction. Zoe. Aurora's voice softened. Just remember, revenge might feel good, but it comes with a price. Some prices, I watched Will's car pull away, are worth paying. Everything looks in order, Titus said, sliding the final paperwork across his desk. The LLC is registered, and the building purchase will be complete by end of week. No one can trace it back to you. I signed where indicated, each stroke of the pen feeling like another step toward justice. And the current tenants? All leases transfer to the new ownership. You'll have full authority over renewals, rent adjustments, everything. He paused. Including evictions. Perfect. I handed the papers back. And Ellis? Agreed to stay on as property manager. He's curious about the new owner, but understands discretion is part of the job. My phone buzzed. Another text from Krista. Missed you at lunch yesterday. Mom says you're not returning her calls either. I clicked it away. Let them wonder. Your parents still don't know? Titus asked, watching me. They don't know anything. I stood up. And that's exactly how I want it. Later that afternoon, I met Ellis at the building. He'd cleared his schedule for a private tour, though his expression suggested he had questions. The previous owner never visited, he said, leading me through the lobby. Managed everything through lawyers. I prefer a more hands-on approach. We took the elevator to the top floor. This is our premier unit, he said, unlocking apartment 12A. Currently occupied by a tenant, I cut him off. Just a tenant. He nodded slowly, understanding dawning in his eyes. Of course. The tenant recently requested some renovations. Her boyfriend is an architect, apparently. They're planning quite an extensive remodel. Will's designing it himself, I said flatly. Isn't he? Ellis hesitated. Yes. They've already ordered custom furniture. I walked to the windows, looking out over the city. The same view Will had probably admired while planning their perfect love nest. Cancel it. The furniture? All of it. The renovations, the furniture, everything. I turned back to him. This building is under new management now. That might cause some tension. Good. Back in my office, Aurora was waiting with takeout and raised eyebrows. Done playing real estate mogul? Just getting started. I picked up a spring roll. The paperwork's final. The building's mine. And your sister has no idea? None of them do. I smiled. But they will. When? Soon. I pulled out my laptop. But first, we need to make some changes to the lease agreements. All of them. Aurora sat forward. What kind of changes? The kind that make it impossible to stay. I started typing. New pet policies, renovation restrictions, rent adjustments within legal limits, of course. You're going to make everyone's life difficult just to get to Krista. I stopped typing. No, I'm going to offer everyone except Krista generous relocation packages and help finding new apartments. They shouldn't suffer because of her. That's actually pretty decent of you. I'm not a monster, Aurora. I just want justice? Something like that. My phone rang, Mother's number flashing on the screen. I let it go to voicemail. They're worried about you, Aurora said softly. No, they're worried about their image. I closed my laptop. Did you know Mother's already telling people I'm taking a sabbatical? That Will and I are working through some things? And Krista? Still the perfect daughter, the one who made a mistake but deserves forgiveness. I laughed bitterly. They probably think I'll get over it eventually. Ellis's number popped up in my messages. Mr. Ford was here today with designers. Should I continue blocking the renovation requests? I typed back, block everything. If they complain, direct them to the LLC's lawyers. Another message from Krista followed. The building management is being difficult about our remodel. Can you talk to them, since you know real estate people? Sorry, sis, I murmured, deleting the message. I don't think I can help with that. Aurora watched me, concern etched on her face. Are you sure you want to go through with this? I pulled out the building's paperwork, running my fingers over the LLC's name, Phoenix Rising Properties. They thought I would stay quiet, I said, that I'd be the good daughter and swallow their lies. But here's the thing about being the responsible one. You learn how to play the long game. And what game is that? I looked at the stack of lease agreements waiting for my signature. The one where I finally stopped playing by their rules. My phone buzzed again. Ellis. They're demanding to speak to the new owner. I smiled, typing back. Tell them the owner will reveal themselves when the time is right. A family dinner? Aurora nearly choked on her wine. You're planning to drop this bomb at a family dinner? I adjusted the table settings in my dining room for the 5th time. Where else? It's their favorite stage for performances. And you're sure about the timing? The 30-day notices go out tomorrow morning. I straightened a fork. The dinner is tonight. Perfect timing, don't you think? My phone chimed. Mother. Looking forward to dinner, darling. So glad you're finally ready to move forward. They think I'm extending an olive branch, I said, showing Aurora the message. Mother's probably already planning the reconciliation announcement for her charity committee. The doorbell rang at exactly 7. My parents arrived first, Mother carrying a bottle of expensive champagne. For celebrating, she said, air-kissing my cheek. You're doing the right thing, dear. Father squeezed my shoulder. Proud of you, princess, taking the high road. I led them to the living room, watching Mother's eyes scan for signs of Will's continued presence. She relaxed, seeing his photos still on the mantel. Krista arrived next, wearing another new dress. The doorman said Will's not here yet. He's coming separately, I said, handing her a glass of wine. Work thing. Speaking of work, Father settled into his favorite armchair. I heard the Morrison project is going splendidly. Oh yes, Krista beamed. Will's so talented. You should see the designs he's done for my apartment. Well, you would have if the new building owner wasn't being so difficult. New owner? Mother raised an eyebrow. Some investment group bought it. They're blocking all the renovations Will planned. Krista sighed dramatically. Zoe, can't you talk to some of your finance people? I'll look into it, I smiled, hearing the doorbell. That must be Will. He entered cautiously, like a man walking into a trap. Smart man. Everyone's here. Mother clapped her hands. Shall we move to dinner? I'd set the table perfectly. Crystal glasses, fine china, and hidden under each elegant plate setting, an envelope. Before we start, Mother raised her champagne. I want to toast to family, to healing and moving forward. Yes, I stood, lifting my glass. Let's talk about moving forward. There are some changes coming that you should know about. Changes? Will shifted in his seat. I've been doing some investing. I reached under my plate, pulling out my envelope. Real estate, actually. Krista brightened. Oh, maybe you can help with my building situation. Funny you should mention that. I slid envelopes toward each of them. Take a look. They opened them simultaneously. The silence that followed was deafening. This This is an eviction notice, Krista whispered. From Phoenix Rising Properties, Will read, his face paling. The company that bought your building. My building, I corrected. I bought it through an LLC. Mother's champagne glass crashed to the table, spilling across the white tablecloth. You what? 30 days, I continued calmly. That's how long you have to vacate, Krista. Don't worry about the other tenants. They're all getting relocation assistance. You, however, you can't do this, Father stood up. This is ridiculous. Actually, I can. It's all perfectly legal. Titus made sure of that. Titus? Mother's voice shook. You went to him behind our backs? Like Krista went behind my back with my husband. Will started to speak, but I cut him off. The renovation plans you made together? Cancelled. The furniture you ordered? Returned. The love nest you were building with my money? Over. Zoe, Krista's eyes filled with tears. Where am I supposed to go? I'm sure Mother and Father have a spare room, or maybe Will can help. He seems good at helping you spend money. This is not how we handle things in this family, Mother hissed. No, we handle things by pretending they don't exist, by smiling at charity events while stabbing each other in the back. I stood up. But I'm done playing that game. You'll regret this, Father warned. No, I don't think I will. I picked up my wine glass. Now, shall we eat? The food's getting cold, and we wouldn't want to waste a perfectly good dinner party. I can't believe you're my sister, Krista sobbed. Funny, I smiled. I've been thinking the same thing. Will hadn't spoken, just stared at the eviction notice like it might bite him. Oh, and Will, I added, expect divorce papers tomorrow. I hear moving is expensive. You might want to start saving. Mother buried her face in her hands. Father's face turned purple. Krista continued to sob. And me? I finally took a bite of my dinner. It tasted like victory. This isn't happening, Mother repeated for the third time, dabbing at her face with a monogrammed napkin. We can fix this. We can... Fix what exactly? I cut into my steak. The fact that my husband and sister were having an affair, or the fact that I'm not pretending it didn't happen? Both. She slammed her hand on the table. Do you have any idea what this will do to us? To our reputation? Will finally found his voice. The building purchase. That's why you've been so calm these past weeks. Calm? I laughed. No, I've been busy, planning, calculating. You know, all those practical skills you and my family always praise me for? Krista's mascara had created dark rivers down her cheeks. I'll be homeless. Don't be dramatic. I took a sip of wine. You'll just be apartment hunting, like a normal person who doesn't have her sister's husband paying her rent. Father stood up so quickly, his chair toppled backward. This ends now. You will sell that building immediately. Or what? I met his gaze. You'll cut me off? Disown me? Go ahead. My inheritance is already mine, remember? The one you never wanted me to control? Your mother and I always protected you. No, I set down my glass carefully. You protected your image, your precious social standing. Well, guess what? It's about to take a hit. Will leaned forward. Zoe, please, we can work this out privately. Privately? I turned to him. Like how you and Krista kept your affair private? Tell me, how many people at your firm knew you were sleeping with your wife's sister? His face went white. What did you do? Nothing yet, but secrets have a way of spreading, don't they? Mother grabbed my arm. Think about what you're doing. Think about Krista's future. I am thinking about it. I'm thinking she should have considered it before sleeping with my husband. It was a mistake, Krista wailed. We never meant to get caught, I finished for her. That's the only part you're sorry about. The sound of breaking glass made everyone jump. Father had thrown his whiskey tumbler against the wall. You will not destroy this family, he growled. I didn't destroy anything. I stood up slowly. You all did that yourselves. I'm just making sure everyone knows it. Will's phone buzzed. He checked it, his face draining of what little color remained. The Morrison contract. They're pulling out. Already? I raised an eyebrow. That was fast. Though I suppose news of an architect sleeping with his wife's sister might make clients nervous. You had no right, he started. No right? I laughed. Like you had no right to sleep with my sister? To spend our money on her apartment? To lie to my face every single day? What do you want? Mother's voice was desperate. Money? We can pay you whatever you want to keep this quiet. I don't want your money. I walked to the window, looking out at the city lights. I want the truth to come out. All of it. The truth? Father scoffed. The truth is you're being vindictive. No. The truth is you raised us to believe appearances matter more than honesty, that keeping up with social obligations matters more than loyalty. I turned back to them. Well, here's some truth. Your perfect daughter is getting evicted. Your golden son-in-law is losing clients. And your carefully constructed facade is cracking. Krista stood up shakily. I'll tell everyone it was my fault, that I seduced Will, that you're innocent in all this. Too late, I smiled. The story's already spreading. Amazing how quickly gossip travels in Mother's charity circle. What will people say? Mother whispered. Let them talk, I shrugged. At least now they'll be telling the truth. Will pushed back from the table. I should go. Yes, you should. I nodded toward the door. Your things will be packed and sent to your office tomorrow, along with the divorce papers. This isn't over, Father warned. Actually, it is. I walked to the door, holding it open. Dinner's over. Your perfect family illusion is over. All of it. They filed out one by one, Mother still dabbing at her tears, Father rigid with rage, Krista stumbling in her heels, Will avoiding everyone's eyes. As the elevator doors closed on their shocked faces, I pulled out my phone and texted Aurora. It's done. Her reply came instantly. How do you feel? I looked around my empty apartment, at the wreckage of the dinner party, at the life I was finally taking back. Free, I typed back. I feel free. The news broke faster than even I expected. By morning, my parents' carefully curated social circle was buzzing with whispers. By afternoon, Will's firm had officially terminated his partnership, and by evening, Krista's Instagram followers had dropped by thousands. Your mother's charity committee meeting was cancelled, Aurora reported, scrolling through her phone in my office. Apparently, half the board suddenly had prior commitments. Funny how that works. I signed another stack of papers for the building. Any word from the family? Your father's firm lost 2 major clients this morning, and Krista's been spotted moving boxes into your parents' guest house. My phone lit up, Ellis calling. Yes? Ms. Krista is here, he said quietly. She's demanding to speak with the building owner. Says she knows it's you. Is she alone? No, your parents are with her. They're making quite a scene in the lobby. I grabbed my coat. I'll be there in 15 minutes. Don't let them leave. Aurora stood up. Want backup? Always. When we arrived, the scene in the lobby was exactly as dramatic as I'd expected. Mother was berating Ellis while Father paced and Krista sat crying on a designer suitcase. Looking for someone? I called out. They whirled around. Mother's perfect makeup couldn't hide her exhaustion. Father's suit was wrinkled, a first in family history. You've made your point, he said gruffly. Now stop this nonsense. Nonsense? I walked closer. Like the nonsense of defending their affair? Or the nonsense of expecting me to stay quiet? People are talking, Mother hissed. Mrs. Robertson uninvited me from her annual gala. Do you know how long I've been on that committee? Not my problem. Please, Krista stood up. I'll move out. I'll disappear. Just stop destroying everyone's lives. Destroying lives? Aurora stepped forward. Like you destroyed your sister's marriage? Stay out of this, Father snapped at her. No, she stays, I said firmly. She's the only one who's been honest with me from the start. Ellis appeared at my elbow. Should I call security? That won't be necessary. I turned to my family. You have 25 days left to vacate, Krista. I suggest you use them wisely. Will's leaving the country, she blurted out. He's taking a job in London. Says he can't stay here after what you did. After what I did? I laughed. That's rich. Your father and I are being ostracized, Mother's voice cracked. 30 years of social connections, gone. Karma isn't quick, I quoted Aurora's words from weeks ago. It just needed directions. We're your family, Father tried one last time. Family doesn't do what you did. Family doesn't cover up betrayal and call it love. Family doesn't... My phone rang. Titus. Sorry, I answered, but this is important. I listened for a moment, then smiled. Perfect. Send it through. What now? Mother asked wearily. The building's being transferred again. I looked at Krista. I'm donating it to a women's startup foundation. They'll be converting it into affordable housing for female entrepreneurs. Your what? Father's face turned red. Think of it as my contribution to Mother's charitable works. I smiled sweetly. Isn't that what you always wanted? For me to be more involved in philanthropy? Krista sank back onto her suitcase. Everything's gone. My apartment, Will, my followers. Actions have consequences, Aurora said quietly. Sometimes they take a while to catch up. This isn't over, Father threatened again. Actually, it is. I nodded to Ellis. Please escort them out and make sure they understand they're not welcome back. As they were led away, Mother turned back. What will you do now? After burning every bridge? I'm going to live my life, I said simply, without lies, without pretense, without you. The lobby fell silent after they left. Ellis approached cautiously. The other tenants have all received their relocation packages. Most are quite grateful. Good. I handed him an envelope. This is for you, a bonus for handling everything so professionally. Thank you, but... He hesitated. Was it worth it? All of this? Aurora slipped her arm through mine as I considered his question. Some people think revenge is about making others suffer, I said finally, but sometimes it's about making them face reality, making them see themselves clearly for the first time. My phone buzzed. A text from Father. Fix this. Now. I deleted it without responding. Come on! Aurora tugged my arm. Let's get coffee. You look like you need it. As we walked out into the sunshine, I felt lighter than I had in months. The truth might hurt, but lies? Lies were heavier than I'd ever realized. And I was finally done carrying them. The final papers lay on my desk. Divorce settlement, building transfer, everything signed and sealed. Aurora perched on the edge of my desk, scrolling through her phone. Will's London move is official, she reported. Posted a very dramatic goodbye to New York on LinkedIn. No mention of why he's leaving, of course. Of course. I signed the last document. And Krista? Living with your parents, according to Instagram. She's turned off comments, though. My office door opened. Titus strode in, looking pleased. The Women's Foundation is thrilled. They're calling it the Phoenix Project, housing and office space for female entrepreneurs starting over. Perfect name, Aurora smiled. My phone buzzed. Mother calling. Again, I declined it. Still not talking to them? Titus asked. Nothing left to say. I stood up, gathering the papers. The divorce is final, the building transfer is complete, and their perfect family facade has cracked beyond repair. Speaking of repair, Aurora pulled up an email. Your father's firm lost another major client this morning, Apparently, their reputation for family values isn't what it used to be. Funny how karma works. My office phone lit up. The receptionist's voice crackled through. Ms. Pearson is here to see you. I froze. Which one? Your mother. She says she won't leave until you see her. I looked at Aurora and Titus. They both nodded. Silent support. Send her in. Mother entered, looking smaller somehow. Her designer outfit was impeccable as always, but her eyes were tired. What do you want? I asked. To understand. She sat without being invited. Was it worth it? Destroying everything we built? You mean everything you pretended to build? I leaned back. The perfect family, the sterling reputation. It was all fake, Mother. I just exposed the truth. And now what? You're alone, cut off from your family. I'm not alone. I gestured to Aurora and Titus. I have real family. People who tell me the truth, who support me without conditions. Your father's firm is struggling. Krista can barely leave the house. Will chose to sleep with his wife's sister, Aurora cut in. Actions have consequences. Mother's hands trembled slightly. We only wanted to protect the family name. No, I stood up. You wanted to protect your lies. There's a difference. Can't we fix this? Start over? Fix what exactly? The fact that my husband and sister betrayed me? Or that you defended them? Or that you're only here because your social circle finally sees you clearly? She flinched. We're still your family. Family doesn't do what you did. I walked to the window. Family doesn't tell you to swallow betrayal for appearances. Family doesn't choose the betrayers over the betrayed. What do you want from us? I turned back to her. Nothing. That's what you don't understand. I don't want anything from you anymore. No approval, no reconciliation, no fake family dinners. So this is it? You're just done with us? You were done with me the moment you chose to protect them instead of support me. I opened my office door. Goodbye, Mother. She stood slowly. Your father won't forgive this. Good thing I stopped needing his forgiveness. After she left, Aurora squeezed my shoulder. You okay? Actually, yes, I smiled. For the first time in forever, I really am. Titus cleared his throat. The foundation wants to do a press release about the building donation. They'd like you to be there for the announcement. No, I shook my head. Let them take the credit. This was never about publicity. What was it about? Aurora asked softly. Teaching them that actions have consequences, that truth matters more than appearances, that I matter more than their precious reputation. My phone buzzed one last time. Krista. I'm sorry, not for getting caught, for everything. I deleted the message without responding. Some apologies come too late. Come on. Aurora grabbed her bag. Let's get out of here. Ellis texted. The last of the building's paperwork is ready. As we left my office, I caught my reflection in the glass doors. I looked different somehow, stronger, clearer, more real. You know what the best revenge is? I said as we stepped into the elevator. What's that? Living well? Living truthfully? Living without caring what they think anymore? Aurora grinned. Now that's a revenge story worth telling. Speaking of stories, Titus chuckled, your mother's charity circle is probably crafting quite a few right now. Let them talk, I smiled. At least now they're telling the truth. The elevator doors opened to the lobby, and I walked out into my new life. One built on truth instead of appearances, strength instead of submission, and real family instead of fake facades. They thought reputation was built on lie after lie. Turns out the truth was stronger and far less polite.